Hello family, and thanks for stopping by. Today on the menu I have liver and onions, and here are the ingredients. I have a pack of frozen liver, beef liver, some butter, some onions that I've chopped, some flour, salt and pepper, and oil. And let me show you what I'll do with the liver. Okay, I like to keep them slightly frozen because they're easier to work with. So I took them loose and I rinsed them off in cold water really quickly. And I laid them on some parchment paper because it can get pretty messy. And I'm going to take some clear plastic wrap because I like to beat it just a little. Come on, paper. Okay, and I'm just going to beat it just a little. You don't want to tear it up, so don't beat it too much and too hard. Just want to make it a little, tenderize it a little bit. That's still a little bit frozen, but that's good. And I'm going to do each side, but I'm going to season it first before I flip it over, because it gets kind of hard to work with when it gets really loose. I'm going to raise that up, and I'm going to add some salt lightly. Liver is like fish. It's really absorbent, like a sponge. So you have to be careful with the salt. And some pepper. And you know what? This is all I usually would season with, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder. Give me 1 minute. Just a little though. I put quite a bit of pepper because I like pepper. I put it on almost everything. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to do the same thing. The weather's looking bad outside. They're talking about storms and tornadoes. It's not so bad where I am yet, but the trees are starting to sway a little bit. Whatever it is that's out there, I hope it keeps going, because we don't need it. And we're going to add again salt. I like to do it with my hands because I feel like I can control it a little better as opposed to it coming up out of the salt shakers and in boxes and whatnot. And a little bit of garlic powder. Like I said, I don't usually use this, but I'm going to try something just a bit different. I've turned on my cast iron pan on about medium, and I'm going to add some oil. Maybe a little bit more. If you need more in between, you'll just add. And I'm going to add some butter. And while that's warming, I'm going to prepare my liver. I'm going to take my my liver, and add it into the flour. Flour each side pretty well. Whew. And add it to my hot oil. I'm going to do another one. I hear the wind picking up. Let's say a little prayer about that one. Gonna let that one brown on that side. Gonna turn this over. Let me get on the other side. I'm gonna cook this side for about a minute or two. See, it's really delicate, this liver is. That's a good thing. Removing the first two. I'm going to add the last two. I say you have to be real careful with it because it'll fall apart. You have little pieces of liver. And you don't want that. You want whole pieces. So be gentle. We're going to finish these two up. If your oil gets a little bit too low, don't be afraid to add a little more oil and a little more butter. You don't have to fry them all the way done because they're going into the gravy to finish cooking. So you just brown each side. You see how that looks? That's about it, and I'm going to remove them. In the same pan, I've added a little bit more oil and a pinch of butter. And I'm going to add my onions. And to those onions, I'm going to add a little pepper, a little bit of salt, and garlic powder, just the way you seasoned the liver. We're going to cook these until they're clear, translucent. This is about how we want these. See, they're not limp. They're just partially cooked. Because we're going to add these back into the gravy too. But right now, we're going to pull these out. And we have all those flavors still in the pan. Not going to rinse, we're going to use it to make our gravy. Sorry, no, this must be loud. I'm going to add some more, because you see the pan is dry. I'm going to add some more oil. And again, some more butter. And you're going to need some hot water to make this gravy, so I have some warming up in my tea kettle. Got this heat up. We're going to add our flour. Some at a time. Change my hand. We're going to stir this around because we want to cook this gravy. Cook this flour, because we don't want that raw flour taste. It's not good. It's kind of gritty in your mouth. If you taste that, then you know you didn't cook your flour enough. Shouldn't taste it at all. You should taste it, but not the gritty. You shouldn't have the gritty texture. I'm going to add some more. We're going to continue to cook this. And then we're going to add our flour. See how it's looking? But you just keep stirring, keep cooking. Spread it out, keep cooking. Till it gets about just a little browner than this. Just a little like dark caramel. Be careful when you add your hot water, because it's really going to bubble up and steam. And you have to add it and you have to stir fast or you'll have lumps. See how it does? Just going to cook down and thicken. And the same ingredients, same seasonings. Little salt. Little salt. You'll be so upset if it's too salty. Pepper and garlic. And stir. Remember, stir and taste. Stir and taste. Now I've tasted this, and it's okay, but it's not quite seasoned enough for me, not flavorful. So I went in the cabinet and I got some chicken bouillon. It's salty, so you have to be careful with it too. You're just trying to get flavor, not so much saltiness. You're gonna stir that up. And I just stick my finger in like this and taste it. Now that's like, with this pinch right here, that's 100% better. Tastes really good. And now, since I didn't let my flour brown, if you don't have any browning seasoning sauce, you can just, when you put your flour in and your grease, you just keep cooking it and keep cooking it until it gets really dark. And then when you add your water, you'll have some really dark gravy. But I didn't let it get as dark, so I'm going to have to darken it. Though this is fine, that's just about color, but you know, it's going to taste the same. Just dark gravy somehow looks like it might taste better. All in the mind, all in the mind. I'm going to add it anyway. Yeah, it just looks tastier, doesn't it? And when we add our liver back in, that's going to give us more flavor. And then we'll add our onions, and that's even more flavor. See the difference? And when you put the, see, it's not real thick right now, but when you put your liver in, the liver already has been cooked in flour, so that's going to thicken it even more. You're going to have a really thick, nice gravy to pour over your rice or your potatoes or whatever you choose to put underneath this or beside this. And I'm using my fingers. We're going to put the liver back in. And if it gets real thick, you can thin it out with a little water. Pour a little water here, there, and shake it around with your spoon, and it'll do what it needs to do. And here's our onions. And we're going to cover this and let it cook slow. I'm going to do another liver dish probably soon, but we're going to cook it like the French do. And it's quite a bit different, but it's pretty tasty. I'm going to share that with you. Okay, I'm going to cover this and let this cook slow for about 10 or 12 minutes. And there you have it, my friends. Liver and gravy. I've added some green onions on top for color. Have you a side of starch, some mashed potatoes or some rice, and a vegetable. Add a couple of shakes of soy sauce. Change the whole dynamic of the flavor, but delicious. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, friends. I had a ball. I hope you did too. Don't forget to pray. Pray and pray some more. Pray for her, pray for him, pray for them. Pray for you, pray for us, then pray again. Don't stop praying, guys. Pray. And until next time, be well.